All right, good afternoon, everyone. It is Mr. Sunshine, and I am coming to you live right down here in sunny South Florida. And we got a special treat for us today. What we have here is a Kawasaki Ninja ignition switch. This Kawasaki ignition switch came from a friend of mine in Pennsylvania because he said that he couldn't find anybody to make a key for it. So they go ahead and they send it down to Mr. Sunshine Locksmith Eddy. Now, I've been doing locksmithing for over 35 years. I know the game better than anybody. And what we have here, again, this is a 2007 Kawasaki ignition. A Ninja is on top of that. And as you can see, they went ahead to get the shear head bolts out. Their shear heads, they cut them. They did a pretty good job hacking it up a little bit. But Gregory Scott Ratner, this is Mr. Sunshine, and we're going to show you how to make a key, because this is actually going to go to YouTube in addition to over my 12,000 videos. All right, so to make a key for this, on Kawasaki's, there are no codes for these unless you get the VIN number and you go back to the factory, and this number is not the key code. That says 160EN. That's just a stamping on the thing. That is not the key code on this particular ignition switch. So what we're going to do, we're going to show you what we had to do here. There's a couple of ways to make a key for this. One is, because it's a 2007, I don't know if Kawasaki's going to have the key code for that. All right, for that VIN number. You could try it, but apparently, because they sent it down to me. The other way, you could either impression this lock or just dismantle it and make the key. Well, I had a limited amount of blanks. I wasn't going to sit here and impression it and file and file and file. It could be done if I had more time, but it's better for this. On this particular ignition, you're going to go ahead, you're going to take the 2 Phillips screws out. Claude Saints, this lock came out of Uniontown, Pennsylvania, and it was shipped to me down from a company down there. You go ahead and you pull the face off. The face comes off just like that. All right, now you see the housing. You're going to go ahead and you're going to just take this plastic that is just pushed on here. You're going to slide that right off as such. So now you got that off. Now, this lock is put in with roll pins. All right, these are synonymous with the old roll pins that they used in some of the old foreign automobiles, how they held the face caps on, how they held the ignition switches on. I've been doing it since 1985 up until today, as a matter of fact. So what you do, they have 3 roll pins here around the side. That the only way you're going to get that ignition switch out is by getting those roll pins out. Now, they're hardened steel pins, so what you do on those, you're going to get I use a drill press. I have a drill press, but you could use a regular drill. You're going to drill alongside the roll pin. You're not going to drill the roll pin because your drill is going to break, trying to break that roll pin out of there. You're going to drill alongside the roll pin. You're then going to use an awl. You're going to use a heavy-duty awl, and you're going to go ahead, you're going to get that in there, and by prying it, you're going to pry that roll pin. You're going to take it all the way around. You're going to use the one over here. You're going to go ahead, and this one here come out a lot easier than the other one because I just pressed them back in. There's the roll pin. That roll pin is what's holding this outer housing. Now, I already did this. I'm not going to tear it apart again. All right, but we're going to give you the tutorial as to how it goes down. You're going to remove those 3 roll pins. Those 3 roll pins are now going to remove this hardened steel plate. This plate is what covers the ignition. It's made out of... It only goes on one way. There's a connector here and a little tab here. It only slides on. Now, you have that out. You're exposing the outer cylinder. All right, but you're still not going to get the cylinder out. You don't have a key. So now what you got to do, there's 3 roll pins here. 1, 2, and 3. Once you use your awl, pry those 3 out, the whole cylinder slides out. Okay, now you have the cylinder in your hand. All right, there's an outer ring. You got to pull the spring out. There's the piece that goes in that fits in a lock like this to turn it. All right, once you get that out, you're then going to have to pull the cylinder out. Now you have all your wafers. You got to be careful because those wafers are all loose. They're not staked in. So if you start fooling around and dumping them all out, all right, now you're not going to know if the key fits a gas cap, if a key fits the helmet lock. It's not going to work because all the wafers have to be in sync to match the other one. So what we did, we went ahead, I pulled it apart. Here's the key, all right? And the key actually goes in. There it is. It turns. It's off. It turns. You go ahead. This is your fork lock. You push it in, lock it, pull it out. So now you got your lock out here that locks the fork down. It's in the position. If this was back on here as such, you can see where it's in the lock. If you go ahead and put the key back in and turn it, you're back into the off. I'll turn it this way so you can see a little bit better. You're into the off position. You turn the key on. It's in the on. It's ready to go. Turn it off. Push it in. Pull it out. Locks it up. Locks the fork. You're good to go. So there it is. My client in Pennsylvania will be happy to see that we made a key that fits his Kawasaki Ninja. There it is. Now, with the holes, you could do one of two things. You could either fill this up with liquid metal, smooth it out, hit it with a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, once you put this cover back on, you're not going to see it. As a matter of fact, we'll put that cover on. It covers all of that. You're never going to know unless you go ahead and pull this all apart. Well, there's no reason to pull it apart. Those roll pins are jammed back in there, so they're not going to come out. So there you have it. You have your lock done. Now, if they insist they want to have the holes filled, which it's not going to make a difference because you're not going to see it from the outside, and once it's put back in your lock, but that is the only way you're going to make a key. I did this in under 5 minutes, so it didn't take me long. If anybody attempts to do it not knowing what they're doing, be careful when you get the roll pins out. Drill right alongside. Use a sharp awl to pry those roll pins out of there, all right? And then once this goes back in the house, even this one here is going to be covered up. Once you get that in, you pry it out, you pull them out, you set them aside. So you'll have 6 roll pins out, the cylinder out, and then just be careful you don't dump the thing out. Once I had the cylinder out, I used the framing. I went ahead and sight read each wafer. There was no code. There was nothing. I just sight read it, and then you go ahead. Now, if you have one of these or any lock, and you don't have a key, whether it's a Vespa, whether it's a Kimco, Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, I don't care. Send it down to me. We'll make a key. We'll give you the video for your future reference. There it is, just like that. There it is, Mr. Sunshine, Locksmith Eddy, Kawasaki Ninja. This was a 2007. They're all basically the same, and so you have it. There it is. Have any other questions, any comments? Don't hesitate. Mr. Sunshine, Locksmith Eddy will show you whether it's a Rolls Royce, whether we got a Ferrari, ignition, door lock, a Porsche. As a matter of fact, we're going to be making some Porsche keys for a client. As a matter of fact, that client would be Leo J. Matthew. Porsche 356, back in the early 50s or 60s Porsche. I have the keys for that. So we will be doing a video once we get him down here and we make his keys. So there it is. I hope you enjoyed that little tutorial. If you lose your key, don't hesitate. Call Mr. Sunshine, 561-693-8636, coming to you live right here in sunny South Florida. Thank you for watching.